Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Transformers Age of the Primes Deluxe Class Fireflight. You can see him there in front of this box. We'll put him off to the side real quick and take a look at said box. And yes, this is a Age of the Primes Deluxe box. You can see Transformers Age of the Primes. You got the window and everything. You got the artwork, of course, robot and vehicle modes right there. You got the 17 steps thing and 4 out of 5 for Superion, which is interesting for me. I think may have done it backwards. Absolutely did it backwards. This is the one that came to me later, so you know. Yeah, you got all that in front of the box, Fireflight and Hasbro right there, and of course Fireflight and Takara Tomy right there, and of course right here you have Superion on the side. Right here you have the Age of the Primes stuff right there in the deluxe class. On the bottom here for some what's included and manufacturing details, and of course in the back of the box you got copyrights and warnings and some product shots. So there you go. And of course the instructions, they're also pretty straightforward because hey, guess what? It's pretty much the same mold as a Slingshot. Like the same mold. Straight up. So Fireflight, for me personally, the final Aerialbot, even though the numbering is different. Yeah, getting in close a little bit, you can see again, you got a very squared off head, and you got a little silver crest thing here. You got a gray face and blue eyes. You got lots of whites right here, but basically red and whites and reds and more red and blue coming down, everything like that. You got some silver on the hands and everything. You got pretty much just white for the leg. You got some black toes. Everything. You got, hey, look, there's the plain kibble, which you know, there's one behind his head and some stuff attached to his legs and everything, and some tail fins up because he's got massive feet. Because, yeah, I guess they didn't know where else to put those things. Although I sitting here, I was like, you know, they could have just made it so these like folded up, you know, one extra hinge and folded them up. But, you know, too late now. It's too late for what it is. So, yeah, looks pretty good, but you know, it is, you know, very much, you know, the same mold as Slingshot. Extremely so, but yeah, of course, some articulation stuff, which, you know, still pretty good, which is got a ball jointed head, which is on this one is really tight. You got ball jointed head though, you know, left and right. You got up and down. You do have a smidge of waggle again, though really tight. You got this full 360 at the shoulder right there. You go outward right there. You go a little bit more than that, although it's kind of banging his head a little bit. You do have a bicep swivel right there. You do have a double jointed elbow like so. Of course, waist rotation is unhindered. Of course, some people have noted that for some reason Fireflight here has a bit of a wobbly waist, and some people are worried about that, but it doesn't seem to be affecting anything so far. So I don't think it's anything to be we're concerned about, especially since I found out Slingshot also has a bit of a wobbly waist. It's just not extreme. So yeah, it's definitely the mold as a whole. So it's not just a Fireflight problem. But hips go forward back this far and back this far and outward. They go more than the full splits, and then you have a thigh swivel right here. You do have a knee joint, which is just about 90 degrees, although you have to kind of be careful with this. You know, this is going to bang in the crotch piece right there. And down here at the feet, you do have ankle tilts, and you do have a downward toe joint and a downward heel joint. So those might be helpful for whatever poses. So there is that. As for accessories, it of course comes with 2 guns, which are both double-barreled gun things. You can see that they both look the same, and they peg into his hands very, very securely. They are snug in there. That is a very snug peg and peg holes type of thing. I don't know why, but he's got some very tight grip on his guns. There's that, and of course the blast fit compatibility is it's kind of there. Yeah, you can kind of stick that over the top of the front of either barrel. There you go. So yeah, as a whole, it's pretty much the same as Fireflight here is pretty much the same as Slingshot. He's got a pretty decent robot mode, although he's got the massive feet thing, which kind of really is off-putting for a lot of people. For that reason, this backpack likes to keep untabbing itself, which is a little annoying. But yeah, he's just kind of pretty much the same mold as Slingshot, but yeah, just in different colors and some slight retooling. So some comparisons. Here he is with SS86 Optimus. Right there. Again, don't have the Combiner Wars version, but I do have Combiner Wars Blastoff, which is what Fireflight was, I believe. Yeah, double checked it. Yeah, Fireflight was this, and they also use it for Slingshot, which is just, you know, makes sense. You know, look, they're doing it again. The same mold for the same character, for both the same character. So there's that. And of course, finally, now that they're all here, we can have the big group shot of all 5 Aerialbots. So there you go. All 5 Aerialbots are finally here. They're Aerialbots, all right. Yeah, you can see though again, Fireflight and Slingshot. You can see again a lot of shared details with the two of them, including some yeah. You can see that the two of them have a lot in common, to say the least. They have pretty much the same legs. They have torsos are mostly the same, although there is definitely some adjustments, like sculpting differences. Different heads, same arms though. As you can see, the backpacks are large, the same, although the wing and nose cone bits are definitely different. Tail fins are the same. I can see that these tail fins, this one's different for each. Oh, actually, no, wait. No, they're the same tail fin as well, all around. So, yeah, but there's some, you see molding differences here as well. So, yeah, it's just kind of, again, just the same mold, more or less. Some adjustments, but yeah. So, that's Fireflight. Decent robot mode. Feet are a little goofy looking, but and he's got pretty much all the same foibles as Slingshot and everything, although his gun's going real tight. So there's that. So go ahead and get him transformed into vehicle mode, and we'll keep going. So first thing, of course, is get the guns out of his hands if he ever lets go, because again, really solid in there. So first thing is take the head here, rotate it 180 degrees, and then take this little landing gear piece and bring it down like this. That, and take the arms here and rotate 180 to the bicep, and then fold them up at the elbow like that. Same thing, rotate the bicep 180 and then fold it up like that. Then you go ahead and unplug this bit right there, and then bring the arms up on this hinge right here, and just bring them up, and they'll peg it over. Go over that peg right there, and right there, just go over that peg, push that in like that, and then bring this down over top like this. And also, unlike Slingshot, this actually secures a bit better than Slingshot's does. Slingshot, I have to fight it a little bit. Yeah, then down here at the legs, of course, you want to go ahead and take the feet and the legs here and just tab them together like so. Bring down the toes, bring down the heels, bring up this tail fin, then open up the front of the legs, and then take the legs and collapse them up into themselves like this, and then go ahead and bring this up and tab that in right there. Bring down the wings, and of course peg the guns in the bottoms of the wings as well. And there you go. That is Fireflight in his vehicle mode. And yeah, once again, it is pretty much a remold of Fireflight. It's supposed to be a bit more of like an F4 Phantom versus not Fireflight. Wow, this remold Fireflight here is a remold of Slingshot. It was supposed to be more of an F4 Phantom versus Slingshot's, I believe, Harrier. And the wings are a little bit low slung and everything, but it kind of gets, I guess, the idea across a bit. It's got the red and red, mostly red jet. You got a gray stripe here. You got the silver canopy and black nose cone. You got the white wings with the blue and yellow striping on those. And some Autobot symbols right there. You got some silver with some black and yellow striping on the tail fin there. Yeah, again, of course, you got this block of, just block of robot. But again, it's a little more nice. It's more snug up against the fuselage, I guess, versus, say, Skydive and Air Raid, just like, Slingshot. So, it does have that going for it. So, you got the wheels molded in right here. You got the landing gear sticking out of his head right there, which again, you can see the head is visible, but it's kind of just a block of stuff right there, so it's not a huge problem. Yeah, and of course you got the the guns right there and everything. So yeah, he does look pretty decent. Maybe a little too squared off on the sides here, but it's not too bad considering again, that has to kind of somewhat avoid potential legal issues. It's not a bad approximation of an F4 Phantom. Of course, the landing gear do not roll at all, so you can just slide across surfaces, but generally looks pretty good still. And they did, I think, the right amount of touching up to at least differentiate it a little bit from Slingshot, although it is pretty much the same exact transformation, which again, transformation is actually pretty clever. They took an Aerialbot, which usually is pretty boring, to be honest, most of the time, and made it something clever out of it at the very least. So hey, there's that. Yeah, that's Fireflight as a whole. Just a pretty decent jet. It's pretty decent jet overall. So there's that. So again, comparison stuff. Getting him back here. Here's Combiner Wars Blast Off, but again, the same. I believe the same. This was also used for Fireflight here. Just yeah, but yeah, you can see the big differences there, including this bigger chunk of stuff underneath the jet and whatnot. So there's that. And of course, here is the entirety of the Aerialbots, the Age of the Primes Aerialbots. If I could flip down his landing gear. Yeah, you can see, the big thing with the wings there, that's right there. But yeah. Overall, yep, there they are. The entire team is right here. Let's try and get them all in frame, more or less. There we go. But you can see, Fireflight and Slingshot here do have a lot in common. You can see that, lots and lots in common. But they also have, you can see the front end is completely remolded between the two of them. He's got you can see this is a much fatter nose cone overall versus him. You can see his wings are, sit down lower versus his are sit up higher. There is that as well. They did make sure to make some pretty significant changes in those regards, so that's pretty great. They did actually make some significant more. I feel like in some ways this is more significant change between these two. So there's that. But yeah, generally the better plane modes. These two generally, I think, have the better overall plane modes. Silverbolt is always Silverbolt's the thing of massive block of robot underneath, and these two are also kind of that massive block, but feel worse because it's so huge. You can see how much higher they just sit between compared to those two. So again, you got a pretty decent looking team, but plane jet transformers are always going to have these compromises, but some of them I feel deal with it worse than the others. I feel these two are definitely the worst overall, when it comes to dealing with the compromises, versus these two I think are the best, with Slingshot just being smack in the middle, literally in this case too. Yeah, so there's the group. Yep, so that was vehicle mode as a whole. So yeah, one last thing, of course, is to talk about combined mode, which is pretty straightforward. Of course, you need, the limb like this, looking like this. You need his arm like this. Of course, fold these up right here, and then you can see there's pegs and slots and everything, pegs and tabs and slots and holes and everything. You just line those all up and put Fireflight on here and just make sure all of them are tabbed in. Forgot to fold away the landing gear. It's kind of important. Yeah, fold away that landing gear because otherwise it will get in the way. Yeah, just make sure it's good. Give everything a really good squeeze right there, so make sure it's all on there solidly. And of course, split the arm like that, and like that, and there you go. Yeah, there's the limb mode. Splits again. It actually splits pretty cleanly. Yeah, once you. Again, you have to make sure that Fireflight, just like Slingshot, is all the way on the arm, or else you're going to have a problem. Just simply, it's going to fight you really hard going into the combined mode. But, it's not too bad, because I've seen some people outright recommend the whole, just split it first, then put it on. I'm like, yeah, that's no fun. It's no fun that way, personally. But, yeah, there's the arm as a whole. And we'll see, of course, of course, got to flip that tail fin down if you like as well, one way or the other. And, yeah, and of course we'll see it all combined together in this Superion video, but yeah, that's the arm, and I'll probably combine it again on the Superion video, because why not? Just do it all again, but generally, it works pretty well. It integrates pretty well and everything, and I'll talk more about it in the Superion video, but yeah, this is, combined mode, so there you go. So yeah, overall, again, Fireflight is, pretty much all I'll have to say is the same flaws as Slingshot, just kind of weird legs just because of the this sheer amount of wings and the massive feet and everything. Other than that, the robot mode looks pretty good. The transformation is I like how they did the arms and everything for the most part. I mean, the legs are pretty similar, are pretty straightforward, but I like how they did the arm stuff and whatnot. The actual jet mode is definitely on the better side, and that's because of it feels a little more sleek compared to say Air Raid and Skydive, and even Silverbolt. But yeah. Him and Slingshot definitely have the better jet modes overall, and he even has improvements over, at least on my Slingshot, just because he comes together a lot better. So my Slingshot has a tendency to just kind of pop itself apart, particularly in the front, which is a little annoying. And it just overall feels just tighter, and it feels taller and it's better than my Slingshot. So there might be that. Other than the waist is a bit wobbly, but it's not such a problem that I'm not really worried about it. So. It's just kind of a consequence of having to split in half. So, I'd rather have it be a little loose and wobbly and able to split in half than for the combined mode, rather than it's really, really difficult to split in half because it's really tight. So there you go. Still a pretty decent, on its own, it's still a pretty decent figure, but you know, it's definitely very much, you know, it's for a combined mode. So that's it for this review. I hope you find it informative and entertaining. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Check out my social media down in the description and at the end of the video. Check out my Coffee and my Patreon. And I shall see you next time with another video review.